Mitch Illg. We see cops all over the place. Highway, restaurants, movies, TV, everywhere. They're the most common thing as anything. But with these cops, there's a lot going on behind the scene. One major thing is police unions. These unions are very common and people don't know a lot about them. First, I'll talk about what causes a union and what they actually do. Second, I'll talk about what they accomplished and how they are backed. Thirdly, I'll talk about the effects of these unions. First up, what causes a union? Unions are made to back other police officers. Scratch my back, I scratch yours type thing. If one police officer gets mistreated, gets violated for something that they didn't commit, but people are blaming them for it, these unions are there to back them. They're there to protect them of their rights and make sure that nothing goes wrong. According to Noah Sheaver, a reporter and author for 15 years, who graduated from Oxford with a master's, states in the New York Times that unions have a sudden influx of members recently. Major thing is police brutality has really picked up in the recent years, especially last year. There's a huge situation with the George Floyd incident, the Breonna Taylor incident, etc. And these unions are there to back each other, so a major influx of members making sure that they're going to be safe. Now, I'll talk about the accomplishments that these unions have had and how they are backed. These unions actually do accomplish a lot. Like I said, they make sure cops don't get mistreated, misjudged, almost like dishonored type thing. And these unions actually have a lot of back from the government. There's actually a bill, or not really a bill, it's called the Civil Rights, or just like a police officer's civil rights. And the government has actually been backing them pretty well. Ever since Trump was in president, police officers were heavily backed. But ever since Biden was elected, it's kind of went down a little bit. According to Brigham R. Franson, an assistant professor of econ at Brigham Young University, in a stated journal called The Effects of Collective Bargaining Rights in 2016, these backings were going up with Trump and president. There is a heavy influx of the government paying money to make sure these unions are collective and actually stay together. Back then, the largest union was called the Police Benevolent Association of New York, with 24,000 members. It's a lot. That makes up about 70% of the police union out there. All right, after the accomplishments and how they're backed, I'll talk about the effects that these unions actually have. These effects actually do have a lot. There's a lot of effects that actually happen on the public. Because with the police misconduct and the violence, the brutality that's been going on, the public's always the first one to say they did it. They're the ones that are responsible for something. And these unions are the ones that are allowed to say, no, we're trying to make sure these cops are healthy, they're safe. They're not attacked by the public that would rather see them dishonored. According to John Rappaport, a professor of law at the University of Chicago, stated in a journal called Collective Bargaining and Police Misconduct in 2019, he interviewed many mistreated officers that are actually being backed by these unions and were successfully backed for something that they didn't do. This officer, named Sergeant Hennon from Los Angeles, said he was getting mistreated by the public for weeks on end for something he didn't commit. There was a crime committed, and he was the first one to respond, and of course they blamed him. He didn't commit this, and these unions backed him until he was actually safe. I stated what causes the union and what they accomplish, and the effects that these unions actually have on the public. Police officers are a major industry in America. They protect us, they put their lives on the line every day for us. They're the first ones to respond all over the place. And we should not treat them as animals, because they are the ones that we have to learn to trust.
444, thank you.